Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Dave's Math channel. I'm your host, David Tear, and this is my continuing feature on the Math Lovers book. Every Saturday, I feature a biography of a famous mathematician, and today I'm up to my seventh out of 80 bios of famous mathematicians. I'm doing them chronologically. And the one I'm featuring today is Eratosthenes. He lived from 276 to 194 BC. He was an ancient Greek mathematician from Syracuse, I believe. And I guess he was what you might call a polymath. There were a lot of them during the Renaissance, but he was a pretty amazing, not just mathematician. I think he was also a poet and a musician, and among other things, a mathematician and physicist. And I think in terms of math, he had two really amazing accomplishments, especially for his day. His first, I already featured this in my section on prime numbers. He had a thing called the Sieve of Eratosthenes. And this is still the most efficient known algorithm for computing all primes up to a given bound. And I already did a lecture on this. I'm not going to go over this, but this is just how you would use a sieve of Eratosthenes to compute all the primes up to 100. And you could do it pretty quickly using this method. And the other thing he did, which I think was maybe even more amazing, was not only did he realize that the Earth was round, which I think few people did at that time, but he was able to measure its circumference very accurately. And and the Greeks really didn't perform very many experiments, but he did. He performed a pretty amazing experiment to measure the size of the Earth, and pretty simple actually. So he reasoned the Earth was round, which it is, and his idea was to measure the height of the sun, the angle the sun makes with the horizon on the summer solstice. That's the longest day of the year in the northern hemisphere when the sun is highest in the sky at high noon. He reasoned that that angle should be different. It should be smaller angle the farther north you go because the sun was in the plane, the ecliptic, which is kind of close to the celestial equator. I'm not going to go into the details here, but I think you get the idea. There's a difference in angle, and that difference in angle is precisely the angle that a ray going from the center of the Earth to the point where you're standing. You pick 2 points, and he picked Syracuse and Alexandria. I guess Alexandria was about 500 miles south of Syracuse, and so if the sun's angle, he measured the difference in angle is about 7.2 degrees. I don't know if he measured it that accurately, but he got a measurement about that. And what you do is you just you divide that angle into 360, and then that ratio, which is about 1 over 50. If you take the reciprocal of that ratio, which is 50, you multiply that by the distance, which was 500 miles, you get the circumference of the Earth, about 25,000 miles, which it is. It's very close to 25,000. I don't think he was quite that accurate. He measured in another unit. They didn't use miles back then. He used a unit called stadia. But I understand he was only off by about 2%, which is pretty amazing to me, especially considering that for nearly 2,000 years, most people in the world forgot that the earth was round. I mean, we did have a downfall of ancient society at the end of the Roman Empire, unfortunately, and we had the Middle Ages, which lasted, close to 1,000 years, and even by the time of Columbus, most people thought the Earth was flat. Still, I guess Columbus had enough courage to, insist the world was round, and he thought he could get to the New World by going west, and he was right about that. What he was wrong about was his size. The knowledge of Eratosthenes had been lost for almost 2,000 years, and he thought the Earth was about 1/5 the size of what it really is, and that's why he thought he came to India instead of the New World. But anyway, enough of that. So I think Eratosthenes was an amazing mathematician. I just think it's too bad that his knowledge was lost for so long. But I guess that's the way history unfolded. But anyway, that completes my profile on Eratosthenes. So thank you for watching. Long live math, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.